YouTube, Dark Edition of Team Sorcerers here, and welcome back to What If Wednesday. And this one is another suggestion from Dragon Master 25. What if Lunalights were my favourite and signature deck? So another switcheroo, because normally I really hate playing against Lunalights. It's basically an OTK deck because Leo Dancer exists, whereas Kaleido Chick makes it so you can't do anything in the battle phase if it's banished, which I don't think is fair. But in this timeline, I wouldn't even think about that. Then again, I guess I would understand how annoying it can be from other people's points of view, but in any case, here's how it would go down. I mean, I'd see them in the Arc 5 anime and take a liking to them, and then when Shining Victories came out, I'd try and end up getting a case of it. Not just to pick up the Blue Eyes support, to upgrade my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, but also to get the Lunalights stuff, which wouldn't be as hard to get, and then just have it put together. And I guess my favourite and signature monster would probably be Cat Dancer. You would think it would be Panther Dancer or Leo Dancer in this timeline, but let's be honest, out of the three, Cat Dancer is the easiest one to summon, even though Panther Dancer and Leo Dancer have better effects. But yeah, I would see Cat Dancer as the Red Eyes Black Dragon of the deck, and a Red Eyes Black Dragon with battle immunity and the 100 burn effect. So going forward would be how I'd kick things off in a duel, and even see what I can do to win with it later on, even if it means using a Blue Cat's effect to double its attack. So that's how, excuse me, so that would be how things go down, and I guess me and Dragon Master would be Lunalight rivals, because he also wanted to play the deck. Yeah, depending on how quickly I'd be able to put the deck together, I'd immediately start using in tournaments. Of course, if it's the locals, that would happen before the third ever tag team tournament. That's when I'd start using them in, which would be the more likely scenario. I don't think I'd use it in that dual demonstration tournament thing that happened on Free Comic Book Day that year in 2016. But otherwise, if it wasn't ready in time, then I'd start using it some point after that tag team tournament, the one where me and Brute Boy lost our tag team title. Because yeah, we were using the same decks from before, Rainbow Neos and Yang Zings. But yeah, that's what I basically roll with. I don't know how well I do with it in tournaments though, and it's kind of hard to say, because I might have one hell of a time trying to deal with meta and anti-meta, and by anti-meta I mean Psy fucking frames. Seriously, fuck that deck. But anyway, I think besides Lunalights becoming my favourite and signature deck and going on to be one of my epic elites, I don't think a lot would be different. I feel like there'd still be things that would happen that would cause me to quit playing in tournaments just because of how fed up of the meta I got, especially when it came to Trick Stars and Pendulum Magician. Facing Dark Lords would be annoying, especially if Christia and Vanities would be on the field, because Lunalights can't do shit against them. I mean, if they can't special summon, then they're fucked. And I guess Dark Lords would be higher on my list of hated decks. The other thing is, it would be really annoying when Lynx came into the game, and it would just be harder to play them. So I'd have to, until I get some more generic Lynx with multiple arrows pointing down, I'd have to resort to fusion climbing, basically, because, well, I guess that's something Lunalights kind of do anyway, fusion climb, considering Cat Dancer is listed as a fusion material on Panther Dancer, and Leo Dancer is listed, Leo Dancer has Panther Dancer listed as a material. So that's what I'd end up having to do. Speaking of Leo Dancer, I guess that would be my win condition. Just building up to Leo Dancer and trying to go for game with that. Just like with Elemental Heroes, how I build up to Shining Flare Wingman. Then I wouldn't know whether or not to play this deck or my other Jaden deck in the last Skeleton Character tournament we had. I mean, if I still use the other Jaden deck, nothing would change, but if I use Lunalights, then me and Dragon Master would start the tournament with a mirror match. I guess if I won the mirror match, then I'd still go on to win the whole thing by defeating Supreme Kings / Evil Heroes and Marek along the way. Otherwise, I don't know. But I feel like I'd use the other Jaden deck more, because with Lunalights being the favourite in Signature deck, there are plenty of normal tournaments I could try and win a tournament with. But again, I don't know how successful I'd be. It would become a goal to try and win a locals with Lunalights. Same with Dark Lords in the previous episode. I forgot to mention that. I don't know, but anyway, when Legendary Duelist 4 came out, I'd probably get a box of that or even a case to pick up the support, including Saber Dancer and Lunalight Fusion. But it'd be still kind of hard to play, considering it was Master Rule 4. But I'd like to think that by then I'd have some generic Link monsters that could open up some main monster zones, including Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep would definitely be a big help for the deck. I think Lunalight players play it anyway, but yeah, Cross Sheep would help a lot for sure. And naturally I'd be jumping for joy when Master Rule 5 would be effective, and I'd be like, yay, I can play this deck how it's supposed to be played. Of course, the only downside is not much would change. I mean, I feel like I'd still end up quitting tournaments again, because, well, because it wouldn't necessarily be a top tier deck. Or, then again, there is something I just remembered. Lunalights were randomly doing well, like quite early on in 2020, rather randomly, so much so that Lunalight Tiger got banned, and that would actually piss me off. Of course, in the real timeline I didn't care that much, but in this timeline I would be absolutely raging over this and thinking it was just unfair and unjustified. Thinking that this was one of the worst bans since Stratos. But then again, I guess I would understand why at the same time, but naturally I'd be jumping for joy when it came back, and then eventually it went to 2 and then back to 3. When I'd go on to build my cat deck, I'd be wondering whether or not to play Lunalight Cat Dancer. I guess I still would, because it would be the same situation with Dark Magician. I mean, I'd not usually prefer to have Dark Magician in one deck, which is, well, its own deck, and yet I'd still end up playing him in Magician Girls and Random All-Stars, and for a brief time Blackluster Soldier. It would be one of my best decks, which would actually be included in the Dark Magician's Deck Grand Championship. Same with Dark Lords, when I talked about that in the previous episode. Didn't think to bring that up, and I would like to think eventually Lunalights would win that. But in terms of normal tournaments, I still think I'd end up quitting them anyway. As I feel like Lunalights would get a bit power crept compared to decks that would come out after 2020. And yeah, I'd still get in on the minor league with this deck, but would end up quitting it again for the reasons I did quit, including the arguments over negates and OTK decks. Even though I wouldn't be using Lunalights for OTK purposes myself, and then of course Monarch Gate would still happen, which would be the final nail in the coffin. And when I'd go on to create Magician format, I'd probably leave Lunalights untouched. Either that, or maybe I still would ban Kaleido Chick just to make things fair and maybe limit Leo Dancer, like how I've done recently. Because at the start, both Leo Dancer and Kaleido Chick became banned in Magician format because they're the problem cards, although the other month I actually unbanned Leo Dancer and put it to 1, just to try and get a balance, to try and make everyone happy, as well as do it because of the support in, what was it, Duelist Advance. I guess I'd still try and pick up the single and ask for a box of it for my birthday instead of that Rage of Ra box, just to try and get the Lunalight support, as well as the stuff for Utopia and Nouvelle. Yeah, well, what I do to Lunalights in patrician format would be a bit up in the air. But yeah, that's basically how things would go down if Lunalights were my favourite and signature deck. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching.